Hey, I know you.
Hello there, friend.
Hello, friend.
Oh, you got some new fancy lights back there, my friend.
Yeah.
I gotta beef up mine now. Over there with your fancy pants.
I'm also standing today, so the backdrop's a bit different. So anyway, yes. So it is. What day of the week is this? Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's May 25th. It's my son's last day of kindergarten. So I did the boohoo drive to school this morning. He just got out of the car. He was like, "Bye,
Bye." Old hat. He's like,
Yeah.
this is nothing new.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's new with you? What's new in your neck of the woods?
There's a lot of things in my neck of the woods, but
But you literally live in the woods, though. Like,
I literally live in the woods.
Yeah.
Jason, lakes across the street. Jason laughs at me all the time because I'm like, "Oh, deer! There's deer in my yard. Deer."
Yeah.
Well,
you have to work with your window down in your office too, and I can hear all wildlife as well.
Yeah, I feel like we live in a bird sanctuary because there's so many birds, squirrels, chipmunks, snakes. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Anyway, people make fun of us in Georgia saying we've got these mountains, and they're like, "Those aren't mountains; those are cute little hills you have over there." But I like them. You know what I mean? I was talking about that with somebody this morning, actually, and we were making that joke. But people out west, they always say like, "Oh yeah, you don't have mountains; you have rolling hills. Those aren't mountains. If you want to see mountains, come and see them over here." And it's like, okay, it feels like those people who are CrossFitters. You know what I mean? Who are really big into CrossFit, and they're like, "You don't work out. That's not working out. This is working out. CrossFit. I do CrossFit." So it's like, apologize to anybody who's listening who's a CrossFitter, but it's true.
I feel like you're talking about something very specific right now.
Listen, no, I'm vegetarian vegan, and so I know all the jokes about that too. So I'm in the same boat category of being classified as people who talk about that. But anyways, I'm off my rant. Really weird.
Well,
okay.
I would say that maybe that's your differentiator. Maybe those things set you apart. Maybe those things make you different and unique.
You're gonna have to go back to a different segue because I don't think that one worked. But I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it ride.
I'm trying to segue into the topic at hand today, which is knowing your differentiator, understanding your differentiator, how that can affect your business, starting your business, all of that. All that is wrapped into trying to be unique as an entrepreneur, right? And so we have a new episode that's out today on Hustle Machine. I don't think we introduced ourselves. We're really bad about that. So I'm Jason. That is Zach. And together
is Zach.
And that piece of what right there on the other side of the screen.
Watch it, sir.
That guy is Zach. Hey, throwback to our old podcast where we used to just the intro to every episode, the cold open was an insult. That got old after a while. But anyway, yeah. So I'm Jason. That's Zach. And together we own and operate Market House, a marketing and design firm here in Atlanta. And we also have a podcast. It's called Hustle Machine, and it drops every Wednesday. And we talk about entrepreneurship, and we wrap it all in the glasses of what does it have to do with hustle culture, and how do we do things to fight the toxic world of hustle culture, right? So that is our show, and that's what we talk about. And we have a new episode that's out today. It is called Unhealthy Competition, and we're talking a little bit about football. We relate it to the world of hustle culture, and we connect it all up in a nice little bow, and we present it to you in a podcast. And that is out today.
Yeah.
They launch every Wednesday.
Yeah. Today we actually talked about, or in the episode today, it's the latest shenanigans going on with Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. I got ugly. You got ugly, man.
Yeah. If you just Google Nick Saban right now, I'm pretty sure you get a ton of content about what we're talking about. What was that comment?
Hey, Lauren. Hey, I'm so glad to hear that you are a listener of our show. Sorry. For the people who are maybe just listening to this, I said, "What's up, guys? I found you guys on the Win show with Chris. Great episode, and now I listen to your show. Welcome, Lauren. It's glad to hear from a fellow listener. That's awesome.
Welcome to the Hustle Machine family.
Would love to hear some of your feedback on the show or about our show. We'd love to hear that too. So
as long as it's positive, negative
only if it's positive. Leave a review. That's what we really need. Lauren, leave us a review. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
So differentiators. If you want to listen to that show that we discussed, differentiators and the Dead Letter Office, that is episode 4 of the Hustle Machine podcast. And so what we usually do here on WINJECT Studios is we usually pick an older episode. Sometimes it's the one that just drops today. Sometimes it's an older one. And we do like a deep dive into that topic at hand. What did I see just pop up? Lauren says, only positive from me. Love the fun topics. Awesome. Great. Woo. Thank you so much.
Love it.
So if you want to listen to that episode, you can go back. That's episode 4. And in it, we talk about differentiators. And differentiators, people talk about it. Some people don't know what it is. If you need a better grasp on it, it's really just, how are you different? How is your brand different than every other brand? Sometimes the answer to that is it's not different at all. And maybe that's okay. Maybe there's, not a ton of competition. Maybe you don't need to set yourself apart. Maybe you feel like you're just happy just kind of being there in the middle. But I think when you actually are truly different, right? So when you actually have a differentiator and you understand that as a total brand, that is when you can start to set yourself apart, and you will begin to see those benefits pay off when people recognize your brand, when people understand your brand voice and all of that stuff. I think I saw another comment come on. Do you want to read that one?
It's just more love, man. I agree with Lauren. Really fun topics. Also, listen to the show on Spotify. Hey, Jay. Woo! Actually, my brother's name is Jay. So nice to virtually meet you. That's not my brother. Nope. Yeah, we're glad to hear some positive feedback from the show. That's awesome. So yes, differentiators is a key factor, because a lot of people get into business ventures, and they do. One of the things, Jason, you said on the podcast or the episode specifically was that oftentimes you have this great idea. You have this really awesome idea that you want to pursue, and you go and type it in and look at it and you go, oh, it's already a thing.
Yeah.
It's already a thing. And, a lot of times people will say, well, I don't want to do that. If somebody's already doing it, I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But the sheer fact is there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
There's different companies that are doing, like, I make the comment that we build websites. And there's 1,000 other companies that build websites for people.
But no one like us.
No one like us, for sure.
Actually, there's probably several like us, but whatever.
The swag surfers are back. That's what Garen says. I don't know how to surf. I got into surfing at one point, like just the interest of surfing, but I never actually surfed. I like the idea.
I had a boogie board when I was like 9.
I had one too.
I don't know if
that I fell too many times. And I had a skateboard. I could do an ollie, and that was about it. Okay. Anyways,
danger.
So yeah, I tried to I found my old skateboard when we moved from when I had from high school.
Yeah.
And what I had done when in high school is I'd sanded the bottom of it, took the trucks off, sanded the bottom up so it was the bare wood.
Yeah.
Put the trucks back on it and wrote with a Sharpie all of my favorite bands. So stupid. So I go back and read some. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're garbage. Why did I listen to that? Some of them were like, yes. And then I tried to get on it, and I immediately was really wobbly. And a friend of mine actually got on his son's skateboard and was like, I love skateboarding. When I was growing up, he broke his collarbone. He's like,
That's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing at somebody.
I know. I laughed too when I read it. I was like, I laughed. I was like, you broke a collarbone. Yeah. So Kendra says here, toxic thinking episode is my personal fave. That's awesome. Yeah. There's actually in today's episode that released today, that one actually goes into some more toxic thinking, toxic stuff going around hustle culture that just gets in our brains and we don't think about it and we just observe it and see it happening, but we never really like talk about it. And so we pull out that Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher comment. Now to go back to what I was saying, I surprised I remember this because I have such bad ADD and I'm all over the place sometimes, but there's nothing new under the sun. There's just not. Like, we build websites, but there's thousands of other companies that build websites. Yeah. We're doing nothing that's new in the world in that space. And I had a conversation this morning with some guys that I meet with once a month. We talk about business and kind of like a mentorship type deal. Yeah. And one of them actually talked about this. He said, what is the one thing that you're doing right now that other companies aren't doing that are in the same industry as you that you think would like that puts you above those people? And right. I was like, man, that's a really great question. And that, and again, that goes back to our topic. What's your differentiator? What sets you apart from those? And it could be customer service. You maybe just have stellar customer service. It could be that there's a new feature or a new element that somebody's doing. You actually have just a small little tweak to it, but you got to highlight that tweak because that's what sets you apart.
I said, I don't know if I talked about it in that episode, but it's something we talk about clients, and it's called the skyscraper method. It's a technique developed for SEO. So for developing on the web and making sure that your site is optimized and being the best site that it can be. But it's a technique developed for SEO by this company called Backlinko and their founder called Brian Dean, which I think is moved on and they've been bought out. But in the method, skyscraper method, which is totally applicable to everything, he talks about when he develops an SEO plan, he looks for the tallest skyscraper. So he'll Google search results, or he'll look and see what's out in the landscape, and he'll say, who's doing the best in this industry and in this segment of the market that I want to build a new site on. Who's doing the best? And he'll look for the biggest skyscraper on the landscape, and then he will build several stories on top of it. And so what he's looking for is he will see who's doing the best, take ideas and techniques and notes on that, and then he'll just try and level that up. I keep going. We have a couple comments come in. Jason's advice.
More love, man.
Logos to companies helped me not show that many while presenting them to a contact. Okay, cool. I love your episode with Chris as well. We'll have to listen to Hustle Machine now for more tips. Awesome.
Yes,
thank you.
Please do, Jess. Yes.
Join the Hustle community. So skyscraper method, it's applicable to everything, right? So if you are trying to find out your differentiator, how can you be better in business than maybe somebody who does something similarly to you, or somebody who's in your area that does a similar service or whatever on Etsy, and there's other people in your space. It's look to see what the successful people are doing, take notes, and then do one better. One thing that always frustrated me in the business world is when people get locked in on seeing what other people are doing, and then they just replicate that. Sure. That is one of the most maddening things to me. And one of the reasons that we started our own business is I was tired of just trying to do what other people were doing. I wanted to do what I thought would be even better, like a next level up, right? So the skyscraper method, I think, is totally applicable to anybody looking to be successful as an entrepreneur. You take your competition, you take a healthy look at them, and you say, what can I do? Like what you said before, Zach, like, is it customer service? Is that what you're going to do to level up and be better in it? And I think that you take those notes and then you make your skyscraper taller. You add several stories.
Yeah.
You make them, so much better. And I think that's something that you can take from another industry segment like marketing and SEO, and you can apply that across the board. I think it's just a great technique.
100%. Yeah, I think that's the thing that most companies, I think most people know to think of the differentiator, but I think a lot of times they don't highlight it enough, right? So they end up, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that most companies, especially if you're an entrepreneur starting out, what we see, and we actually had a conversation with that group of guys this morning, was a lot of business owners will just dive right in and start doing all kinds of different things. They're offering and grabbing whatever they can. We did the same thing. They just start grabbing whatever they can, saying yes to everything that they can. And then you start to niche down. And then you find what you really are gifted at and what you really like to do the most in your business.
Yeah.
Then that's when you have to start niching down from that point and saying, what makes me different from all the other companies? Why should they choose me over all these other companies? Is it my price? Is it the features that I have that these other ones have, but I actually have one or two other features that will take it to another level?
Yeah.
Is it my customer service? Like, what is it that gives you that edge to push them over, to persuade them onto it?
Totally. Pop up what I think you just said exactly what Nina was talking about in the comments. I always push my clients to think about what is the one thing that makes me completely different. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Stop doing copy and paste. And here's the thing, I don't want to pick on coaching. I don't. We talk about that a lot. But one thing that I'm seeing in the coaching world is a copy and paste. It's a copy and paste. They're saying the same things over and over. And actually, a friend of mine this morning sent me one on Instagram. He's like, it's about a passive income thing. And that's another thing that's a push button for me right now. It's just this passive income thing that's being thrown around just all willy-nilly, right? It's it's a buzzword for me now. Now, I'm working on some passive income options to diversify my portfolio, but it's
the problem. The problem is, let me interject here real quick. The problem with the phrase passive income is it's one of those things. It's one of those buzzwords that is running around like SEO was years ago. Like people are like, what you need on your site? You need some SEO. People are like, dang, I need some of that. How do I get that? Who do I talk to?
That's a cool acronym.
Who do I talk to? Exactly. Who do I talk to get me some of that SEO? And it's still kind of in that, like, it's still kind of like nebulous and it's in the ether and like people are just like really not sure what it is. But by and large, a lot of people kind of have a general understanding of what it is now. And when people talk about passive income, they talk about it. It's like, you know what you need? You need some of that passive income. You need to just not work so hard and you need to get some of that passive income going, man. That's what you need. And people were just like, yeah, that's what I need. And the people who just don't understand, it's like, you've got to put work in. Like, you're not just going to be like, where do I sign up for the passive income? Can I get some of that passive income here? Or, I mean, we've had people come up to us and be like, I'm quitting my job. How do I get some passive income? And we're like, no, please don't quit your job. Plan first. Like it's a problem. It's a problem. Sorry to get off on that rant, but it is a problem. And I think it's something that needs to be discussed because I feel like there's a lot of untrustworthy, unsavory types who prey on people who want to better themselves and fall victim to getting into the wrong group and end up spending way too much money and effort to have a passive income or some better business strategy, end up failing miserably. So,
well, and one of the he sent me on this thing on Instagram, and he said, "Do you think this is legit?" And it had like a picture of them on with their family at the beach, talking about how they have more time and all this stuff. And then he's like, it went so pushy. Straight, I mean, no hidden tactic of marketing or anything like that. It went straight to fill out this form to find out more. And I was like, no way. Yeah. There is no way. He goes, this seems like an MLM. Do you feel like this is an MLM? I was like, it sounds very MLM-ish the way that the language read, but I don't know what they're selling. Like there was nothing. It was just, do you want to be like this and go on trips with your family and be at the beach and all? I'm like, what in the world? Yeah. And to Nina's point, she said earlier, she says, yeah, it's frustrating. A coach need to take you beyond the same thing everyone else is doing. And I think that's just, I'm picking on the industry because I see it so often. And then Kendra said, tips to customers: if they say done for you, run. I can't stand when coaches say that. Yeah, I get it. And I'm picking on the industry because it's so easy, because it seems as though that is the new norm that we see these days, is coaching. And there's nothing wrong with coaching. And I'm not saying you should never get into it. I'm saying, as if you are a coach, what's your differentiator? Because there's a lot of them out there that I like. And, Anthony Trucks is a good one. I love his stuff. He's got a different perspective. And I know Chris has a personal connection with Trucks, and he's got it. He's got a different perspective. And I think that's right there is what you need to be. Right. If you've got to find what makes you different. I love what you said. What Brian Dean talks about is the skyscraper method of what are they doing? They're the best in the industry. So obviously what they're doing, I have to replicate it in some way, because they're at the top. But what can I do to make it better? Right. And I think that's oftentimes where, when we are working in our business or working on projects and working constantly, we lose that edge because our heads are down so much so that we forget to look back up and say, are we actually different from all these other companies, or are we now just like everybody else? And I think that's what makes I'll say this, that's what makes Apple so great, is that they're constantly trying to come up with something new. Now, granted, you could argue that they're not anything new, but they're marketing it better than anybody else. Yeah, that's the thing. Because they may not have the newest technology, and they may have old technology, but they're marketing it better than the people who created it. Right. So, and that's their differentiator, because it's whole brand, its whole experience. Let's say Trucks does a great job of over delivering free content as opposed to making people best. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's a differentiator of his. That's a differentiator. Yeah. I think another way to conceptualize a differentiator, or to just use this as an entire exercise, is to do something that I like to talk about a lot, and that's joy. So in business, if you find your joy, that will begin to change your whole business journey, right? 100%. So once you find your joy, once you start living your joy, and like that being your career, you're already on a different level. And I think that when customers and prospects see that joy come through you and your product and in your marketing and videos and social media, people see that difference, and they see a business leader, they see a coach, they see an entrepreneur, they see a freelancer, they see somebody who is living their joy through their work, and they want to be a part of that. Shows through. The passion shows through. They want to be a part of it. They want to know more about you. They want to know more about the product. They're going to spend more time on your site. They're going to live in your brand. They're going to follow you on social media. And I think that when you're real and you show that joy that you have for what you do, that is your differentiator. That's your differentiator, because you can perform a job. You can be active in your dream and in your career, but if you're not happy, like if you don't find joy in that,
it's going to be visible. Like it's not going to translate into all the different areas of your business.
1,000%. Yeah. Can you put up the 2 comments that Nina just put? Because what she said, she just dropped 2 great things out there that I thought were really good. You can look at the strategies without copying the content. And then the next one is have your own content, but don't reinvent the wheel. That's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, we have a specific client right now that they're in the home security, home automation. They've got some really, really big competition out there. There's some people that have been in the business in that arena for a really long time.
Yeah.
But they do have some key differentiators that we are trying to highlight that now they're seeing. We've run some ads and some marketing for them. And now they're starting to see, okay, at first they didn't want to highlight some of those features, but now they're like, I see that we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're still in home security, just like Simply Safe and some of these other big names.
Yeah.
But how are you different? How are you different? And let's go right after that every single time. Because that's what people are going to respond to. Like, yeah, you can do this, this, and this. Okay, great. So can Joe Schmo down the street. But why should I choose you over him? Because he's been doing it for a long time. I don't know who you are.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see what is that comment from Chris? It says it's all about tapping into your competitive advantage and driving that home to the people that want to consume it. Know the problem you want to solve and make it clear. That's another thing I think we should talk about is knowing the problem that you solve.
Right. So one of the things that I think is huge with having a differentiator is a lot of people look at, and like what I mentioned on the show is you have an idea, you go to Google and you get discouraged. You're like, oh gosh, this thing already exists. But a lot of what people are looking at is what the problem is. So like I have a product, I'm bringing it to market. What problem is this? It's I need can crush. I need to crush these cans, or I need
can crush
stuff. Yeah, I need stuff for my wardrobe, whatever it is. But people don't focus on the differentiator being the solution. Like what problem, what problem are you solving it, and how are you solving it? Because how you solve it is a huge differentiator in the space. Like Zach, you and I have been looking for a specific kind of software to use with clients. And we vetted like 3 or 4 different companies recently trying to find a good solution because they all work to solve a similar problem, but on the back end, they all solve it very differently. Some of them offer good ways to integrate with clients and as like an agency reseller thing, and some of them do not. Some of them are very expensive, but are free after you get started. Some have ongoing pricing. So everybody finds a different way to solve that problem. So if you're just looking at the initial thing, it's like trash cans. Oh man, trash cans already exist. I thought I invented trash cans. Well, dang. You just make a better trash can. You have a different way of presenting it, you know? So I think a really big way to shift your focus is how am I solving this problem differently than everybody else? Like, why would a customer do this as an exercise? If say you were in business and say you haven't even started yet and you have a solution for a problem that you think is relatable and can get you enough business to sustain you as a career. Think about if I'm already in business a year from now, like what are customers thinking about me? Are customers happy with what I presented? Like, is this a good solution? Have I solved their problems adequately? And what are things that I can do to continue to be the best in this? How can I keep my skyscraper taller than everybody else? Because that's another thing, is making sure that you are continually building on top of that skyscraper. Continuing to take a look at those things that make you better and innovate, like you just said. So just keep innovating and making sure that you are not getting stagnant with your brand. I think that's a downfall for a lot of people.
So one of the examples I've been thinking about was there's a t-shirt company called I think it's called it's called True Classic Tees, and I've seen a lot of ads for this lately.
I have some over there.
True Classic Tees from this brand.
Yeah. Yes, I bought a pack of them the other day.
See, okay, so they're selling just t-shirts.
Yeah, just
it's nothing new. It's nothing new. But what they've done in their marketing is genius, because everything that they talk about is like, I even think one of the ads, it poked fun that they're just selling t-shirts at themselves. Is like, okay, what's the difference? But they're like, the way it fits differently across, like how it makes the guy feel wearing just a plain t-shirt, because we all know that t-shirts aren't made equal, because you could put on one t-shirt and it could look one way, and you go put on a same color, same everything by another brand, and it fits completely different. And so the way that they've differentiated and the way they talk about their differentiator is the fit, and then they show it, and then they talk about clients who are genuinely recording it on their phones, where you can feel like this isn't canned. And they're talking about the fit and how much they love it, and their ads some of them are hilarious. And so that's just a great example.
And have a good fit. Not a sponsor, but they could be.
I'd love to have them as a sponsor. I like t-shirt. I'm wearing one today just because, like, I went to that meeting this morning super early. I was up at 4:45 to get to the meeting by 5:30. So yeah, I wanted to have a t-shirt on this morning. So long story short, that's just a great example of some good marketing that they talk about on their website. They talk about in their ads. They're not going, buy my t-shirt. Look, I have a t-shirt for sale. Okay, great. Sounds awesome that you have a t-shirt for sale. I don't want it. But this t-shirt will make you feel this way. It's solving a problem. They're announcing, here's the problem that we've seen is t-shirts don't fit well. And we want to have a better fit to our t-shirts. This doesn't fit well. Right. Okay, this is how I'm a differentiator. Let's sum it all up, because I think we could go around and around and find example after example. But I think the main thing is oftentimes, like I said earlier, entrepreneurs, business owners, creatives, whatever you are, your head's down. Oftentimes you're not looking at how are you different. So I would challenge everybody to whatever makes sense for you, annually, quarterly, monthly, if you want to. It depends on the market, how fast it changes, but you should always be trying to figure out how can you be different? How can you be different? How can you be different?
Yeah.
Because people want that. And also assessing is what are the things that the services, the products, are they solving the problems that I want to solve for my clients? Is that still happening? So surveying your clients, making sure that that's still happening. And if it's not, then you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on and how you could solve the problems that your clients are facing. Because that's what's going to make you more money. That's what's going to drive more business. That's what's going to set you apart among a sea of other people who do the same thing.
Agreed. High five. Internet high five.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Again, we are Hustle Machine. I am Jason, and he is Zach. I said he. I didn't say that.
I'm glad you didn't say that. That.
I am Jason. He is Zach. Together, we have the Hustle Machine podcast, and we also run and operate Market House, a marketing and design firm here in Atlanta.
Yes.
We would love to have you be a part of our Hustle Machine community. Find us on Facebook. Just search Hustle Machine. You'll find us there. We have a page and a group if you want to join the discussions there. And then a larger community.
All the below.
Yep, all the info's down below. And then our larger community, that is the WINJECT community, us and a whole community of podcasters and entrepreneurs trying to make a difference in the world. And if you head over to WINJECT.com, you can join for free, see extended content over there, join the group discussions, join in that whole network over there. And it's good times. And if you are a creative as well and you're interested, they have plans there to help you launch your own podcast career. So check us out there. I think Chris just dropped some links down below. And audio and video calls are now live in WINJECT. So it's a whole community. It's like a whole social network happening there on WINJECT, and it's for podcasters and audio enthusiasts. And I guess until next week, until next Wednesday,
right,
we will see you. Right.
Later, guys.